Man, that sunset is gorgeous.
Grill, patio, sunset. Hard to get better than that. Unless you're browsing Carvana's inventory while you soak it all in.
Oh, burger time.
So sit back, get comfortable. Carvana's got thousands of cars under $20,000 just waiting for you.
I could stay here forever.
Carvana, where car buying meets comfort, meets convenience. Download the app or visit Carvana.com today. The comfort of your favorite seat is now your comfy car selling command center, thanks to Carvana.
It doesn't get any better than this.
Your favorite seat's the best spot in the house. Make it even better by entering your license plate or VIN and getting a real offer in minutes.
There really is no place like home.
And speaking of home, Carvana will pick up your car from yours after you finalize your offer. Visit Carvana.com or download the app and sell your car from your comfy place.
In January of 2014, local San Antonio news outlets began reporting claims made by a man who named himself as the world's greatest Bigfoot tracker. As proof that he deserved the title, the man released photos of the preserved body of what he claimed was a Sasquatch that he shot and killed in 2012. The hunter reported that the body had been held at a testing facility at a Northwestern U.S. university, where it had been subjected to a battery of tests to verify that it was indeed the legendary cryptid known as Bigfoot. In the following days, the body would be exhibited at a number of impromptu venues where skeptics and believers alike were able to get a close-up view of a seemingly myth-made flesh. If it wasn't incredible enough that a Bigfoot had finally been bagged, according to the tracker, this was actually the second Bigfoot body he had managed to retrieve. The first had been turned over to shadowy government agents after they had threatened the tracker and his family. This case file joined the Theorists as they hop in their used 1998 Jeep Grand Cherokee and cruise over to the three-ring circus surrounding Rick Dyer's dead Bigfoot.
Welcome to Alien Theorists Theorizing Case File 218. Rick Dyer's big old dead-ass Bigfoot. I'm Braden.
Comes out.
I'm Dan.
And I'm Andrew.
Woo! First case file of the year, man. This, I tell you, this is an emotional roller coaster ride.
Started off with a bang.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. This
Big
is
old bang.
Now.
It's all downhill from here, everybody.
It really is. The fact that I've heard about this before, and I've heard the tale briefly, but I didn't know the ins and outs. I didn't know the players. After some reading, some podcasts, some YouTube videos, some documentaries this last week, holy shit, is the world of Bigfoot fucked.
Fucking
so fucked.
Fucking
man.
awesome. It's awesome.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Some of the greatest characters around.
Oh, buddy, there's so much mystery and turmoil and it's just fucking crazy.
A lot of world's oldest tractor vibes.
Oh, dude.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Big
yeah.
time.
It is definitely a world built on a lot of strong personalities, and therefore you get these awesome, amazing saga that unfolded from 2008 to 2014, right? So, just to get right into it. So August 12th, 2008, a press release goes out and announces in big capital letters and headlines on a couple of newspapers, Bigfoot body found. This is not unusual. I mean, if you read the Weekly World News, you see this like every other month.
This was unusual because it was getting some major headlines of other than the Weekly World News. This was.
Yeah, this wasn't next to the fucking Bat Boy Speaks. and shit
Yeah.
like that, right? Like
Yeah.
this was
Right. This was on a bunch of newspapers coming out, and people saying that it had claims in there like DNA evidence and photo evidence of the creature would be presented at this press conference that was taking place on August 15th at noon at the Cabana Hotel in Palo Alto, California.
You know what? This has just really struck me as odd. How come we've never done a dedicated case file to Bat Boy? Because like that, Bat Boy was such a big part of my childhood. Like going through the grocery stores,
Absolutely.
seeing him on those magazines.
we could cover his whole. He ran for president in 2016 or whatever.
That boy did?
2020. Yeah, I think he ran for president.
We should do his biography on a case file.
Bigfoot was his running mate. I'm not joking.
That's fucking awesome. Why did America would be in such a better place if Bigfoot and Bat Boy won?
This is true.
Make America spooky again. Like what was this fucking platform?
People weren't ready for the United States, the U.S. first cryptid president.
Yeah,
It's bullshit.
All right,
too close-minded.
So a press release goes out on October 12th saying on October 15th they're going to present August 15th rather, that they're going to present a creature commonly known as Bigfoot found in the woods in northern Georgia. There's going to present it at a hotel.
A body that had been found,
Or more commonly known as on that documentary, Sasquatch.
Sasquatch.
What is a Sasquatch?
the press release listed out a bunch of like little tidbits, a little juicy information, kind of like a little like rundown of what the actual, bits of the description of this creature that they were going to present. Things like description of it's 7 feet 7 inches tall, weighs over 500 pounds. Creature looks like it is part human, part ape. It is male. That's what they said. Had reddish hair.
Big old Sasquatch balls.
Big old Sasquatch.
Yeah.
Squatch
nards.
Hey.
It's got 2 arms and 2 legs. I mean, they made that clear in the press release for some weird reason. And it's 5 fingers on each hand, 5 toes on each foot. And, a couple of other, details just going down. Basically, if you pictured a Bigfoot, that's what it looks like.
It's a giant person with hair.
Hairy person.
Hairy person.
So now the body was claimed to have been discovered in the mountains of North Georgia. And the 2 men who were said to have discovered and in some versions of the story shot the actual creature were Rick Dyer and his partner Matthew Whitten. And they actually claimed that the one Sasquatch that they had in their icebox essentially was not the only one that was present when they had done it. They had actually cited 3 other creatures, the same description, in various heights. I think they assumed that some type of like family unit or something like that.
Well, I kind of dug into that because I was curious because after watching some stuff from Rick Dyer, who before this was a used car salesman, and Matthew Whitten was an ex-police officer.
Wait, no, he's not a used car salesman. He owned a used car lot. He makes it clear. Very clear.
Sorry.
Come on now, put some respect on his name.
Sorry, my apologies to Rick Dyer. He was a used car salesman owner, or used car lot owner.
Big difference.
Because I read things like my initial understanding of this case was that they shot this thing. That's what it was. But I couldn't find any real I would read articles that stated it was shot in the back and then dropped. But most of the interviews and stuff with Rick, they just say they stumbled across this body. And what it was is these 3 other, I would say the most cohesive storyline that I found, or the most popular one, was that they stumbled upon this corpse of a Bigfoot being dragged by these other 3. And they fired a shot which scared them off. And then it took these 2 guys like 5 hours or something to drag this body out of the woods. And the whole time they were being cased by these other 3. And Rick, kind of made it seem, or he alluded to that he thought they were dragging this Bigfoot to bury it
or eat it.
Yeah, well,
cannibals
or eat it.
Cannibalistic.
So now when they obtained the body, they put it and froze it in a block of ice in the very a la Minnesota Iceman in a industrial freezer or whatever.
Stuck it in a
basement freezer.
Here's my question really quick, because they did they took him a few days to drag this body out of the woods, right? That's what I said. It's so heavy. and then they froze it. But in the meantime, because this is 2008.
Yep.
Yeah.
Did they get any sweet did they make a photo album of Weekend at Bernie pictures with fucking Sasquatch as they're dragging them out to be like, hey, look what we got
Draped over their shoulders.
yeah.
They didn't.
They did take pictures of the Sasquatch that
Before it was frozen.
Yes, but unfortunately, they were using the worst camera ever because if you thought the Patterson Gimlet film was blurry, these photos are. You're like, what am I looking at here?
You make out hair.
How close were you?
You make out hair and like some kind of features.
Yeah,
have we ever thought have you ever considered the fact that maybe that's just Bigfoot's camouflage? Maybe he's just blurry.
He gives off a blurry vibe.
That is a point that has been made on other
right.
Some Bigfoot researchers would agree or support that theory that perhaps he just has some kind of natural field or something, cloaking field for lack of a better word, that makes him blurry in photos.
They're definitely hollow.
Yes.
Hollow Bigfoot. Well, apparently not.
So they have the body and so when they have the body, they figure the only person that they'll allow to certify that this is a real Bigfoot is Tom Biscardi, who at the time was the CEO of Searching for Bigfoot Incorporated. And he was also scheduled to attend and verify that body in person at the press conference, at the request of both Matt and Rick. Now, Tom Biscardi is also the founder of something called the Great American Bigfoot Research Organization, which is something, akin to, I guess west of the Rockies, it's a BFRO. East of the Rockies, like Midwest of the United States, is the Northern Wood Ape Conservancy, probably NWAC. Yeah. And then I think maybe Tom covers the East Coast or something.
Yeah. He's also a certified loser. He is.
He's a piece of shit.
He's a piece of shit.
He's a piece of shit.
Loves Snapple.
Loves Snapple.
He does love his Snapple.
If I know anything about Tom Biscardi, he's
Snapple guy.
Well, yeah, he had also claimed, he also had a claim to fame because he's the only one who can certify that that they have a real Bigfoot, because he once claimed that he had captured Bigfoot on August 19th, 2005 on an appearance on Coast to Coast with George Norrie. It actually made the claim that they had captured a male beast that weighed over 400 pounds and stood 8 feet tall, and said he would present the photos several days after they had captured it, which it actually turned out to be a hoax. The photos never materialized.
The secret to his strength.
Kind of went.
He didn't get his Snapple that day.
Yeah.
His blood sugar dropped. He was talking nonsense.
He was just talking nonsense. So wait, he said he's going to present pictures of the Bigfoot he found, I think, to George Norrie on Coast to Coast, right?
Yeah.
And then 3 days later, he just said, "Gotcha," or what? How did it come out as a hoax?
Never happened.
Just never happened.
Well, the stuff didn't materialize.
But here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. I don't want to paint this as a lot, but you do see this kind of thing a lot. Is these kinds of people will get on shows. They'll get some, they'll get in
their minute of fame,
and they'll make these claims. Yeah, they got it. Alex Jones says it all the time on Rogan. Right, he talks about all the evidence. Oh, secret, locked up CIA files. I got somewhere. I'll show him later. And you never hear anything of it because who cares?
I got a whole tank of gay frogs, Joe.
It's a master. It's a master manipulator working at marketing himself, right? Because who cares? No one gives a shit about the follow up. You've already got the spotlight from making the claim.
You got the wow.
I mean, did they offer him? Did George even bother to offer him some Snapple in exchange? Listen, dude, we'll get you fucking a flat of Snapple. Your choice. We want lemonade, peach. Your choice, buddy.
In the press release, when they were presenting the body, this, back to 2004 or 2008, sorry, you had them claiming, Rick Dyer and Witten, that extensive scientific studies were going to be done on this body by a team of scientists that included a molecular biologist, an anthropologist, a paleontologist, and other scientists at an undisclosed location, because you can't disclose the location of Bigfoot because in case somebody comes and steals it, or they didn't want anybody interfering with the results or something like this. But the studies, they said, were going to be carefully documented, and the findings would be released to the world. Which is what Biscardi said when they were going to go ahead before they were going to do the actual press conference.
Well, it makes sense. Say you did find a Bigfoot, that would be the greatest scientific discovery of all time. I think everybody would want a piece of your Bigfoot.
Yeah. Because there's so many theories about there in Bigfoot, and this being alien theorists theorizing, one of the theories is that perhaps it is some type of alien
interdimensional shape-shifting phase beast, comes in and out.
Possum stuffed creature.
I've always liked the idea that it is some type of alien or extraterrestrial scout, something like that. They drop it in, it's like takes place in like these arboreal forests and stuff like this, and kind of goes around and like in a conservatorship or something like that, takes a survey unit or something. Like I always thought that was a pretty cool idea. But so when the day of the press conference comes, they bring out they trot out the pictures of this dead Bigfoot, and they bring out what they said were the DNA results. And then they kind of suggested that, among all of these results from the DNA studies and everything, that the tests had just had gone awry, that they hadn't produced anything that,
they didn't produce what they wanted.
They didn't see what they wanted.
They said the first test revealed it as human DNA, and then they had a second test done, and then it had the presence of possum DNA.
They're backpedaling because it's fucking manslaughter. Yeah, I shot this fucking thing, right? Like, what do you mean? No.
Well, part of it's human. What? Check it again.
Yeah,
all right, the other part's possum. Oh, okay. We'll split in the middle.
And so, as you would expect with something of this magnitude, this that would probably shake the foundations of academic science and all of that, biology, zoology, all of those studies are concerned the animal kingdom. You had people coming out of the woodwork to come down on this, and especially with so much it made such like a big splash, and it was just caught up in the news, and it kind of splashed all over the front pages. You had people like Jeffrey Meldrum, who's a professor at Idaho State University and a researcher at Bigfoot, who said that when he looked at the photos at the exhibition in Palo Alto, he found them unconvincing. That's the least the nicest way for him to say
it's a possum.
All right. So, we have the pictures of it, and if you can look them up, but like the pictures show pretty much a Bigfoot, what is the alleged Bigfoot, just sitting in an ice box with its innards kind of just like flopped out.
So it was eviscerated at some point? Like when did that happen?
That seems to be. I think their kind of explanation as to why the entrails were kind of hanging out on the stomach were like it had happened like during the dissection or something like that, where
they dissected it.
Well, no, the scientists,
the science people,
the science people who had studied the body, got their chance at it. Kind of, I guess they cut it open and then left everything kind of hanging out. I guess that was kind of their thing. But you even had people, not just like academics, but you had people like Matt Moneymaker, who is the BFRO, the Bigfoot Researchers Organization, come in, and he pretty much went out and straight up said that it looked like a Halloween costume in a box.
Well, we're looking at it right now on the live stream. You guys get a look at that?
Yeah.
Look, so it's in a freezer. Its tongue is kind of sticking out. It's got, I guess like guts, entrails kind of open. I mean, it fucking looks like an ape. I'll give him that.
I mean, it's pretty gruesome.
Yeah.
Like it's if you were going to ask me like what you would expect a Bigfoot body to look like that had been dragged out over multiple days or hours out of a North Georgia forest and then put inside an ice box for weeks and then thawed out. I mean, I'd probably be like, yeah, that's what I expect to see, I suppose.
It was frozen though. Wouldn't there still be some type of like, I'm trying to think of the words. Like you look at it, like it's body structure, right? Like, and it's just, it looks like just a pile of mush. Like, it's still going to have some type of fucking structure to it.
Sure. Yeah.
Right. That looks like a puddle of fur in there.
And yeah, it very much, now that you mention it, it looks like it's just kind of like it's filling up the box.
Looks like
it's
it
just
came out of a fucking tube.
It looks like, it's been like removed of anything rigid.
Yeah,
it's kind of,
I don't know. It's weird.
like a pile,
Now,
like a gut pile.
has anyone ever thought this is a new idea that's just come to me? You know when like a bunch of rats get tangled together and it's called a rat king,
Indeed,
right?
yeah.
All the tails and stuff get tied and it becomes one the fucking all
super gross.
Absolutely
super gross.
disgusting. Yep.
Yeah.
What if because this thing was tested as part possum. What if this is what happens when a group of possums get all stuck together? Right?
And like Voltron together to become Bigfoot.
Super possum.
And then when they get killed, right, or one's mortally ruined, they die, and they all kind of flop apart, right? And so then people are like, that's not a Bigfoot
in a
anymore.
trench coat, is what you're saying.
Yeah, basically, right? Bigfoot's a bunch of possums all together in a bear hide.
What are you going to name it?
Yeah.
What's a pile of possums?
Bigfoot.
Perfect.
A possumus
Are
prime.
you not listening?
Possum is prime.
A possumus prime.
A possum prime. There you go. That's
there you
better.
go.
We'll get
Yep,
with
That's why you're on the show.
Nailed it.
Quips like
Earning
that.
your pay today.
Yeah, holy.
Braden swings and misses. Andrew steps up to the plate.
Boom. Knocks it out.
Everybody's got another moment.
One of the other people that they had in to verify or take a look at the body was Steve Kulls, who's the host of Sasquatch Detective Radio, and the associate. I'm not going to plug their website, but all right, I will. SquatchDetective.com if it still exists. I'm not sure. This is
check right
now. And he had posted on Tom Biscardi's website because he had gotten some of the hair from the corpse, the supposed corpse, and he had tried burning it. Since if you're gonna burn hair, it's it's still up.
Still
there
there.
it is.
Wow.
He's using Canva.
I recognize some of those.
Some of those shapes, some of those things.
The
oh,
fonts. Yeah, fuck yeah.
So Coles had managed to get his hands on some of the hair, and he immediately burned it, because if you're going to burn hair, it's going to have a distinct smell and it's going to be whatever. What he said eventually is he claimed that the hair, when it burned, it immediately just melted into a ball, much the way that plastic fake hair would. So he wasn't exactly convinced. That's something kind of set off alarm bells for him, and the accusations started kind of slinging back and forth between.
Maybe not though. Maybe the Bigfoot hair filament is more like plastic than we know.
This is also true.
We don't really know what Bigfoot hair is made out of.
Maybe this is how they decompose. Like maybe their skeletal structure just disintegrates instantly, so they don't leave behind bones, and it just turns into a pile of
jellifies.
mush.
Dude, and that's why we never find them.
Exactly. That's what I mean.
Right.
Right?
Amazing.
Like that's
Everything turns gelatinous, and it just kind of
Melts and it's gone.
oozes and like bubbles and like goes into the ground, kind of like a wicked witch.
just putty, like putties, just like
Like putties.
But so when everybody got a much closer look at the body, when they managed to thaw the entire thing out, Coles was saying that the feet were predominantly made of rubber, and the innards turned out to be slaughterhouse byproducts and pretty much roadkill. So that's what it seemed like.
So
they took it out.
my theory is coming together then.
It is.
So
Awesome.
you're pretty close. So it comes out that this is pretty much a hoax. That this body was a cheap, not a cheap one, but a Halloween costume that had been stuffed full of innards and roadkill, essentially, to keep it to make it have the appearance of a dead Bigfoot.
I swear to God that this is an episode of Trailer Park Boys. This is straight out of fucking. This is Ricky and Julian. Seriously, man. Like, it's the big dirty
plot,
part too.
The plot does thicken because Rick Dyer eventually, after this had all kind of went down, he would pop up later, and he would claim that this body, the body that they had exhibited at the press conference, was not the original body. He said that he claims that some people from a government agency had gotten their hands on the body. They took the body, all of the video, all of the photos, and had threatened their families, and then took off with everything that they had gathered, all the remains that they had gathered, evidence that they had gathered,
and then made them do the hoax in order to make themselves look foolish, so no one
just discredit themselves.
Well, I think he says that he wanted to do it just because they had made all the claims, and he's like, we can't he felt like they couldn't let people down. They just had to do it.
We have to do something.
They had
Hey man, the same thing happened to the Minnesota Iceman.
You know what though? I do call bullshit because I'm pretty sure we do have on tape the original plan being being concocted.
Oh, do we?
Yeah, I think we do. Don't we?
I think so.
No? Yeah, I think we do.
We do?
Yeah. All right, now, Brady, Petey, Chucky, now. Gather round now. Gather round.
Yes, sir.
Now, speed up now. I know you got that little bad leg and that limp now, but you better hurry up now. Hustle.
Yeah, I'm coming.
All right now, Brady, Petey, Chucky. Now, I do regrettably have to inform you that the 75th annual possum parade has officially been canceled.
What? What happened to them possums?
Now, Peter Brady Chucky, you can't tell me now that you don't remember feeding all them possums paint thinner.
Yes, sir, I remember.
You know, do you also remember taking them all outside and dunking them on all that water?
Yes, sir, I remember.
And do you remember pulling them up out of that water there?
Yeah,
in the hot sun?
I remember, Uncle Ricky.
Yeah, did you poke them with them sticks for a while?
Oh, I poked them.
Yeah, you did. You did poke them. So yeah, Brady Peter Chuck, you killed him. You done committed a possum murder.
Yes, I'm sorry. I'm sorry,
but you know
Uncle Ricky.
What? We can't blame you now. Listen now. You're my sister's son, Brady Peter Chucky. So I'm not gonna get on you. I'm not gonna spank you. I'm not gonna get on you. But we do have ourselves a bit of a conundrum.
What's that, Uncle Ricky?
What are we gonna do with all this possum meat?
Oh, now I got myself an idea.
And now listen here now, Brady Petey Chucky. You got that big ass head of yours, and I knew that you was gonna have some good ideas. Now go ahead now, child. Go ahead.
Eat them.
Brady Petey Chucky now. I told you. You can't go ahead now eating that rancid meat. You're gonna get sick. Now I need you to use that big head of yours and come up with something a little smarter than that, okay?
How about we make a delicious shepherd's pie?
God damn it now, Brady Petey Chucky. I told you now. Anything to do with that rancid ass meat going into that mouth of yours now, it's going to make you sick. You can't put it in you. All right?
Okay, what if we put it in a pot pie first?
God damn it, Brady Petey Chucky. I don't give a shit that we're cousins now. You go ahead and you stop with eating this rancid meat. You're going to get sick.
Okay, well, I got an idea.
Now, this is the last one, Brady Petey Chucky, because I tell you, Lord is my witness, I cannot handle your bullshit no more.
Okay, how about we feed it to the dogs?
Now, Brady Petey Chucky, you're talking that. That's a great idea. We got to feed them dogs. We do.
And then we eat them.
Brady Petey Chucky, you talk about eating them dogs? God damn it, Brady Petey Chucky. I told you about making them Sammy Sassy Squatch. No, wait a second now. Was that just that Sassy Squatch noise you was just making?
Yes, sir. What is it, Uncle Ricky?
Now you know what? That big, beautiful ass head of yours just came up with a beautiful idea, Brady Petey Chucky. You still have that gorilla mask that was too small, about 2 sizes too small for that giant ass head of yours from a couple Halloweens ago?
Yes, I still got it.
You still got that now? Okay, now, Brady Petey Chucky. I want you to, as fast as you can, I want you to go ahead now and skedaddle on down to your mama's house. I want you to grab that gorilla mask. And then I want you to stop at your grandmammy's house, and I want you to grab anything. I mean, anything that's got fur on it. All right? You remember that big, beautiful Logitech webcam that I got for Christmas?
Oh, I love that webcam.
It's a nice webcam now. It's a beautiful thing. I think we just caught ourselves a Sassy Squatch.
We caught ourselves a Sassy Squatch?
And we gonna be rich.
We gonna be rich?
We gonna be rich.
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 We rich.
End scene.
That's
Original audio.
I forgot I had that clip lined up. I had that clip lined up on the back burner there. So that's pretty much how it went.
Legit, when you cut for me one time, I snorted a huge booger onto my mustache. I was trying to get rid of it before you cut. I was like, don't cut back to me.
Oh, fuck. All right, just before we move on then, after that perfect reproduction audio that we scoured from the internet, we're going to grab a beer, take a short break. We got more Sasquatch stories coming right back.
That's not just the sound of that first sip of Morning Joe. It's the sound of someone shopping for a car on Carvana from the comfort of home.
That's a good blend.
It's time to take it easy, like answering some easy questions to get pre-qualified for a car in minutes.
Talk about starting the morning right.
Just like customizing your terms so your car fits your budget. Visit Carvana.com or download the app to experience car shopping the way it should be. Convenient, comfortable.
Man, that sunset is gorgeous.
Grill, patio, sunset. Hard to get better than that. Unless you're browsing Carvana's inventory while you soak it all in.
Oh, burger time.
So sit back, get comfortable. Carvana's got thousands of cars under $20,000 just waiting for you.
I could stay here forever.
Carvana, where car buying meets comfort meets convenience. Download the app or visit Carvana.com today.
We're back.
All right.
So
here we go.
The 2000 Matt and Rick hoax, 2008 hoax was not without consequence. You had Rick had originally been a Georgia corrections officer. Matt, I think, had been a sheriff or a police officer, and Matt actually ended up losing his job. He lost his job. He was fired. They had to fire him because they're like, you lied about the Bigfoot thing. So if we put you on the stand, like, they're going to hit you with that, and then you're automatically. You automatically
shows your character.
It's professional conduct.
You're a grifter.
Yeah.
So, the two of them kind of disappeared for a while, but it would not be the last time that you would hear from Rick Dyer, because Rick Dyer,
got a toonie tonight, don't we?
Rick Dyer would make his triumphant return in 2012,
AKA the return of Rick Dyer.
So in 2012, Rick Dyer claimed that he had caught another, if you believe him in the first one, that they bagged the first one, he had caught another Bigfoot double kill, that he had gotten another Bigfoot, and that this one was a real Bigfoot, that this one was the one.
And the thing is, like, some people will be like, well, that seems fucking weird. And during this period of time, there's interviews with Rick where he's like, I did a lot of people wrong in 2008, but I know Bigfoot exists, so I needed to do some good, and I had to get one and prove all these haters wrong. So he basically was saying that, yes, the 2008 was 100% a hoax, and he felt bad. It ruined his life. But now he's been motivated, and he finally got it.
He lost the faith of all the Bigfoot hunters out there, and he wanted to get it back.
Right. This was a redemption arc. This was his redemption arc.
Chances, though.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. It's truly remarkable.
Well, they were pretty good, or they were considered pretty good enough for British documentary director Morgan Matthews, who is shooting a Bigfoot documentary called Shooting Bigfoot in 2012, and had managed to contact both Rick Dyer and Tom Biscardi, both personalities who were involved with the first story. And then
listen,
it came out.
You have to go watch this documentary.
Yep.
It is fucking fantastic. It's incredible.
You got to get listen. It's hilarious. You got to get past a little misogyny, like a little bit, but it's still pretty good.
So this, the one part that fucking you really want to get under who is Rick Dyer. The filmmaker, Morgan Matthews, meets up with him for the first time, and Rick Dyer has hired an assistant who's only been on the job for like two or 3 days.
Hey, this is Brianna.
Yeah, this is Brianna. And when she corrects him, he doesn't even say her name right.
No.
And she like corrects him.
It's Brianna.
Brianna. And he's like, Brianna. And she goes, she's got just the loveliest of green eyes.
She's like, thank you.
She's like, okay. And then like 2 seconds later,
I'm assuming they don't have an HR department.
And 2 minutes later, they're in a van and he's asking Rick about like what Rick has not yet caught the 2012 Bigfoot yet.
No.
And he's saying to Morgan Matthews, he's like, well, I've been embarrassed. My life's been ruined. And you know what? I need to go out there. And you know what? I don't care, but I'm going to kill me a Bigfoot. And the girl is like, what? You never told me about this. What do you mean? I don't think we should kill it.
Yeah, you never told me we're going to kill it.
He's like, we're going to kill it.
I'm a vegetarian.
Yeah. In the documentary, you have interviews with both Rick and Matt from the original, regarding the original hoax from 2008 and talking about how they both were involved, with Tom Biscardi prior to getting him to, allegedly certify that this was a real Bigfoot that they had caught in 2008. And so there was this allegation made, or, Rick and Matt claiming that Biscardi had paid them $50,000 for the body. They said that for the body, and had also told them that he knew from the start that it was fake, but they could make a lot of money out of it without even like looking at it. He's like, I know it's fake. I will pay you $50,000 for it, but we can make a bunch of money off of this.
Yeah, well, and I think he was trying to say too that it brings spotlight to the genre. Like it brings a little bit of publicity and.
Well, listen, Tom Biscardi with between drinking Snapples, all he's about is fucking grifting. And
we gotta elaborate a little bit on the Snapples. You gotta tell people.
Okay, so there's a point in the documentary where Morgan Matthews is in Tom Biscardi's house, and he kind of corners him about the $50,000 that he allegedly paid Rick Dyer, and Tom Biscardi gets visibly upset, and he goes, Well, I've never heard this before. Where'd you hear that from? Like you can see he gets uncomfortable. Like, how does this motherfucker know this? You can see it in his face. And he goes, Morgan Matthew goes, well, I talked to Rick Dyer and Matt, and he goes, you talked to them? He's like, well, you're not goddamn, you're making me mad. He's like, half of the Bigfoot, 3/4 of Bigfoot people are full of shit. And I'm glad you got me mad because I'm going to start talking about it right now. You know what? I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it anymore. And then he just turns off camera. Joan, get me a Snapple.
This guy, I'm telling you, this is the old man from Billy Madison. This is the don't tell me my business, devil woman. That's him, like yelling at his wife off camera, just being a giant.
There's a point where he walks off camera, and I had flashbacks. I thought it was Zell yelling at us. He's like, everything that you do back here gets picked up by the camera. Do you understand? The audio gets picked up, so it's best
snapping pens, flipping pages,
popping peas. It's best you stand there and do nothing. You understand? Just stand there, do nothing. Get me a Snapple.
I never ask for drinks after.
So I was like, I don't drink Snapple.
I hate Snapple.
And then later on, while they're out in the middle of the woods during a Bigfoot hunt and they think they find a footprint, Tom calls someone and he's like, yeah, how fast can you get out here? Because they're obviously out in the woods somewhere. We watch them travel out there.
I think they're in Farmville. They're in Virginia. They're actually in Virginia, I think.
And he goes, oh, how fast can you get out here? Okay, all right, yeah, cool, see you there. Oh, hey, can you bring me out a Diet Peach Snapple and a glass of ice? And you're like, what the fuck, dude? It's unbelievable.
So, Morgan Matthews managed to put these two big guys, like these two personalities, on his documentary, and the documentary is actually fantastic. It is actually really good. I think it when it released and it was shown at a couple of film festivals, like people really liked it. They had pretty good things to say about it, and I thought it was really fun. I thought it was a gem and fun to watch, and gives a good kind of snapshot of the kind of the Bigfoot world, and a couple different facets of the people who hunt.
Listen, there are some lovely Bigfoot hunters. What are those two guys' names? I wish I could remember their names.
Dude, they legitimately, in this movie, assemble the fucking Expendables of Bigfoot hunting. Like, right? Like, they're fucking ex-Navy SEALs. What's a SEAL? Always a SEAL. Fucking It's amazing.
And we,
What do
we got to say,
fucking-
we got to say that. So Rick Dyer's second attempt at the Bigfoot. The documentary starts with the 911 dispatcher call that's being received from like a homeless woman in the woods of San Antonio.
San Antonio.
San Antonio. And the whole premise of Rick Dyer is like he's believing that he's going there, and that's where he's going to find Bigfoot.
So in this documentary is where, like, immediately following this documentary is when Rick Dyer said that he got the body of the Bigfoot. And if you kind of believe in his narrative and in his claim is that on the night that he was out there with with Matthews, like Matthews goes out with him on this hunt, after they get this, they go in and they investigate this camp of a homeless woman who's living out in the woods of San Antonio. Is reported to 911. They had a Bigfoot. He goes out there. He talks to her, and I assume I think it's her boyfriend, and then somebody else there.
There was a rather large crew of homeless people living in the woods. Actually,
yeah. I think San Antonio. I don't know. In the documentary they show kind of. I'm not 100%.
The one homeless lady felt terrible about snitching on Sasquatch.
Yeah,
she did. She did. That was actually kind of a little heartfelt when she's like,
I know.
She's like, he's just living out here, and I wouldn't want him calling 911 on me living out here as well.
Feel a little bad.
Just trying to survive.
Just trying to survive. I was like, oh.
So, and now you have Rick Dyer claiming that he caught the Bigfoot here. They had shot the Bigfoot, and he had, taken the body, managed to retrieve the body after he shot it and put it on ice and preserve the body to be exhibited later. So this is 2012.
The second time.
The second time.
Okay. All right.
So this is
Traveling
2012.
fucking road show.
Right. And 2012. It took
Now,
him
was
about
this the
2
opener
years.
for the world's oldest tractor?
Yeah.
Well, it took him about 2 years to get the corpse out. and
Was
ready
there for the Minnesota Iceman?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so.
Hey, fun fact, they named him Hank, right?
Hank.
Right.
Do you know why?
Why?
Because Hank III was an investor.
Right. Hank the Third.
Hank Williams III. Hank III.
Alleged investor of the
Isn't that amazing?
Of the investors that Rick Dyer claimed that he had, who were had provided financials for him to exhibit, or his traveling exhibit of this Bigfoot body. Now, after they had retrieved the body in 2012, it took about until 2014 to him actually kind of taking this thing on the road. And in that time, he said that the body had been, or he claimed that the body had been kept at a prestigious university in the Northwest, which he refused to name. And it had been autopsied and taxidermied. And if you look up pictures of the Bigfoot, you can, just go ahead and Google 2014 dead Bigfoot, Rick Dyer. It pops up. And you can see like incisions and cuts in the body, which he says were a result. Like these were the results of the autopsy of them removing organs for samples.
These
and
little
DNA
slits
testing.
here, that's where we had to cut it open so we could jam in all the fucking possums.
There's a picture of Rick Dyer alongside the Bigfoot there, if you're following.
Yep. Hank. Him and Hank.
Yeah.
Hanging with Hank.
Yeah. Now,
there's tons of pictures. There's tons of great pictures of it. It's been around for a while, so they're all out there if everyone wants to take a look at them. And so they autopsied, according to Dyer, they had autopsied the corpse, and then they had taxidermied it, preserved it in order for him to, be ready to exhibit this body to the public. But Rick came out after, in 2014, he had kind of rebranded himself as the Bigfoot Tracker, or
the Master Tracker.
The Master Tracker.
There's a great scene in the documentary where Rick is getting his car that has the most decals on it you've ever seen, claim like a Bigfoot.
Unbelievable.
Bigfoot Master Tracker.
Yeah, he has a huge SUV. Everything says Bigfoot Tracker.
Yeah, and so he's getting a decal right on the front windshield that says Bigfoot Master Tracker. And Morgan Matthews goes, is there some sort of certificate to be a master tracker? And Rick fucking looks at him and he's like, is there some sort of certificate to be an asshole filmmaker?
Amazing.
Dude, I don't know. I don't know a lot of what went on in that documentary, but one thing I know for sure is that the fucking tension between Rick and Morgan, these two guys did not like each other.
It is very palpable.
We all watched it, and we all thought, like, while watching it, when you watch it the first time, like, this guy might kill him out here in the woods.
He almost did.
You might kill him.
Yeah. There's definitely some parts in that documentary where you feel genuine concern for Matthew's well-being, that he very well could have easily been injured or even killed during that.
Yeah, but he could have ended up like one of them possums,
and not by Bigfoot.
Yeah, yeah. Well, yeah. Like that, I just can't get over those scenes with Rick, where first off, Rick is in his ginch 75% of the time. For some reason, always in his ginch.
Always.
It's hot. It's hot in San Antonio.
They hang up because the news report is that, you know, whatever this homeless woman saw, they saw it drag off a deer carcass, right? So Rick's genius idea is that, well, you know what the closest thing to a deer carcass is? Fucking baby back ribs from Walmart. Barbecue baby back ribs.
Premium.
Mm-hmm.
So he puts them in a tree, and the tree is it's like a tree stump that's broke, so it's just like a long tree stump.
A tree would be generous. It's a deadfall.
It's like a
low-hanging branch.
Yeah, it's
chest
maybe
high.
Yeah, well, I don't know how tall
high.
Rick is.
It's 6 feet.
But I'm gonna
But
6 feet. Let's say so. This tree at the absolute height is 6'1", and he places this
slab of meat
to lure Bigfoot, and then they leave.
There's claim that he put some type of proprietary blend of seasonings on the
blend of
baby
herbs and
back
spices.
ribs. And one of the ingredients, I think I came across a couple articles, like one or two articles that had claims that he had actually used urine, whether it was his or an animal urine. I wasn't totally clear. Had put it on the baby back ribs to make them more either inviting or pungent, I suppose. So yeah.
If we know anything, Bigfoot loves piss covered ribs.
And then, the next day they go out there and they walk to the tree, and lo and behold, the ribs are gone. And Rick in like the most office scene I've ever seen, like Michael Scott looks at it, like points, and he's like,
Bigfoot
had to take, nothing else could have taken that. He's like touching his hand where the ribs were. And Morgan's like, well, like a raccoon could have got it, or, you know, like anything like that.
What are the fucking homeless people?
Yeah, he's like, no, I tied it on there, so something would have really had to jerk that off. And he goes, so you're saying Bigfoot had to jerk the meat? And he's like, yeah, Bigfoot jerked the meat. And like, you can just tell that like Morgan just doesn't like this guy setting him up. What we didn't mention is earlier in the documentary, Rick like gets some gun from some random guy who gives him a gun. We don't really know what kind of caliber it is, but he just gives him this rifle.
I'm pretty sure it's a 30-06 model 710. And he might have bought it. I'm thinking he bought that one at a gun show. Is what the
but didn't they in the documentary? He shows up. He's like, "Don't film this. I don't want to show this guy's face." And he gets a gun from the dude.
Yeah, he might have bought it from somebody.
But isn't it in Texas a rule that you can just give people guns? There's no registration.
You can buy them. I think you can buy them from like private owners. I don't know. I'm not exactly sure on the gun sale laws, but no, I think you can buy them from gun shows, and you don't need like a background check or anything.
These guys go out at night, and like Morgan's just asking genuine questions to Rick, like these are small trees in the San Antonio woods, and like Rick is in the middle of the night. It looks like he's got a tactical flashlight on the front of the gun, but it's later revealed that that's just duct taped on. He's shining that up in the trees. And Morgan Matthews is like, dude, isn't this a bit unrealistic to be looking at? He's like, unrealistic that a 500-pound man can get up there? So then Rick climbs a tree, and Morgan's just watching him climb a tree. And he gets up there. He goes, pass me the gun. He passes him the gun. He's like, all right, well, how long are you going to sit up there? He's like, 3 hours. He's like, okay, all right, well, I'll go back to camp.
Well, see you later.
But like, dude, sketchy, man. Like he's waving that fucking firearm around, pointing it. At one point, Morgan Matthews is like, hey man, like, don't point that at me. You're pointing at me. And he drops the gun. And he goes, careful with that. And Rick, like this is like a really like telling of who Rick is. He gets really upset. He's like, "Don't fucking tell me how to handle the firearm." He picks it up and he throws it down again. He's like, "See, I can do what I want, motherfucker."
This
And he's,
rifle
like,
has a scope on it, so
Yeah, and he's getting super aggressive with him.
Yeah,
So
I also
then-
think I also have my doubts about Rick being a legitimate Bigfoot hunter when he thinks that the best footwear is cowboy boots for trekking around the woods.
I forgot.
You trying to
about
say
that.
he's not a master tracker?
I forgot
mean-
about that.
cowboy
I
boots.
don't know.
I know, Dan. I've seen some fucking master tracking in Yellowstone. All those fuckers wear.
Yeah, but they're on horses.
Yeah, they got walk too.
He
Not really.
fucking
They do
bails
some
on some
walking.
like wet leaves. And Morgan Matthews goes like, "Are you wearing cowboy boots?" And he's like, "God damn, I love my cowboy boots. I wear them wherever I want it. I'll wear them wherever. I love them. I always wear cowboy boots." So upset. You're like, "Holy, calm down.
Like,
man.
easy,
It's all
bro.
good."
Easy.
So, following the documentary, and now he's got Hank. He's got his hands on Hank, and he's getting ready to exhibit this to the people. Now, Rick claimed that he had a deal, or he had set up a deal prior to his whole he had gotten a trailer and had put Hank inside of a large glass case. People could see it. It's very sideshow-y, like you would imagine.
It's a sideshow. It's a roaming carnival show.
Yeah, he's a carny. He's fucking legitimately a carny.
And prior to that, he said that he had actually been trying to work out a deal with some prestigious museum, which he didn't name. And he said that they are asking him in an interview about, why take it out? Why not exhibit this at a museum, at a legitimate institution? With all of the credibility that comes with it. He was saying that, well, I don't want to do it with them because they said it would take 18 months for them to set up the exhibition, and I want to get it to the people now. So that was his reasoning behind taking it out on the road with no real, any backing of any type except from these investors. One of them allegedly being Hank Williams III, I guess, and to take Hank out on the road and show it to the people because he felt like that is the most, or that's what he says is the most important part.
There's a great clip of him being questioned about that. And he's on stage and he's like, "Listen, I'm about the money." And then someone's like, he's like, "I'm about the money." And all the crowd's like, kind of like, you can see it souring. And they're like, he's like, I already made $9 million. And the guy yells like, "Then why do you need my $10?
And then he says, so I can have $9 million and $10. This is America. Was what he was reported to have said or responded to that. And this apparently took place at one of the Alamo draft houses. So in one of the articles that was written, a reporter had a great write up in it. I think it was like Texas Monthly about the whole experience and kind of like trekking around to a couple of spots with Rick with the traveling Hank body. And he said that they went to one Alamo draft house. And if you look it up, there's like a news report about Rick and talking about like, oh, if you want to see the body, go to the Alamo draft house where they'll be exhibiting a film about the capture of the creature. But when I read another article, what actually happened is that they went there and the movie that they showed, the film that they showed, was a $6 million man where he fights Bigfoot. They didn't show the documentary. They didn't show anything. They showed the $6 million man where he fights Bigfoot. And they didn't even know that was going to happen. Nobody knew.
That's fucking great.
Oh, man. So after all this, I think this is about February. About January, February, you have Rick traveling around in San Antonio and other places in Texas, like up into, I think he went to like Paris, like up in the Panhandle and a couple other places in Texas driving around with Hank. But in March, the end of March 28, 2014, Rick announced on Facebook that the body of the Bigfoot that he had been putting out was fake. And he said that he came out and said that he had pulled the entire stunt for attention, and he had paid somebody to create a dummy that looked like Bigfoot that he could take on tour.
Oh man, he's gonna have to pay back all that $9 million and $10. Is he gonna have to pay all that back?
I think it was closer to there were estimates. I think he made somewhere around like $20,000 to $60,000 is what I heard. Like for
not a ton,
the whole thing, right? And if you believe Rick, I think Rick said that they made about 20,000, and then he broke even. That he had to pay out the people that he had. He had like 2 or 3 people that were on staff with him. To kind of handle all of
guy's
things.
got a fucking assistant for Christ's sake.
But if you're wondering if perhaps like somebody would say, maybe this is the same thing, some shadowy government agency had come and taken the real body. It was later reported that Chris Russell of Twisted Toy Box in Spokane, Washington, admitted to taking a $700 mummy costume, at the request of Rick, and then turning it into doing a custom job on it, which ended up costing about $4,500 American to turn it into a latex foam and camel hair covered facsimile of a Bigfoot.
The most amazing thing about this is like, you look at the timeline. The first time he did this was in 2005. And the second time he did it was what, 2008 or 12?
No, he did it 2008 and then 2012. Yeah.
Okay, so 2014.
Yeah.
Okay, so 2008, 2014. All right, this isn't the 80s, right? Like you don't think there's gonna be a record of this shit that you've done this twice? Like, who was he thinking he was gonna? This is like the fucking staircase all over again. The guy's wife randomly falls down a fucking set of stairs, and then his new wife randomly falls down a set of stairs. Like, come the fuck on.
He was trying to get pay amends for his first hoax by making
another hoax. Here's the thing. I guarantee you, the guy watched Double Jeopardy. He's like, hey, once you do one hoax, you can't get busted for another hoax. Everybody knows that.
No,
yeah.
It's fucking foolproof. Double Jeopardy.
He's like, fool me once, shame on me. So that's you. This one's on me. If you believe me again, that's on you.
Absolutely.
Now what came about this? Because I'm not sure did we gloss over it real quick that like Morgan Matthews, like in the documentary, filmed a Bigfoot. And he claimed...
Right. We didn't talk about that. Spoiler alert. Well, here's what I think. Here's what I think. I think Rick Dyer had a master plan. He had a master plan when he agreed to have Morgan Matthews film this Bigfoot documentary. During the documentary, there's scenes where they leave for the night, they come back, and fucking raw ribs are thrown into Morgan Matthews' tent on his sleeping
covered
bag.
in bugs.
Covered in bugs. And he's
bugs.
like, Rick, what the fuck, man? Why did you? He's like, I didn't do that. I didn't do it. And it's like, it's painfully obvious that it's Rick. Like when you see this guy, you watch the documentary, you're like, this is Rick doing it. This is Rick doing this. And at the end of the documentary,
well, it could have been Bigfoot, and he just doesn't like urine covered ribs.
It's true. And he was mad. Maybe he got Morgan to pee on them, and that was never disclosed. That's why. So he sniffed it, and he's like, "Fuck this guy."
Return to sender.
Yeah, and he goes. So the last night they're there, he's screaming, and like Rick's getting weirder and weirder as this is going on. One night he's looking out the scope. And he's like, there's a little girl out there wearing a dress. It's crazy, man. There's a little girl in a dress. Like looking through his scope, and like Morgan's like, okay, well, he's like, he literally lays down with the camera. He goes, I think Rick's trying to freak me out. He's scaring me. I'm going to leave the camera on because.
Yeah, he said, I'm not going to sleep.
I'm not going to sleep because this guy's fucking crazy.
This guy's unstable.
So the following night, Morgan hears something with the camera on and pops up, and he's like, Rick. Rick runs out in his gun. She's got the gun, and he's following Rick, and he's like, what is it, Rick? What is it? And then he starts saying to Rick, don't shoot anything. Whatever it was sounded human. Don't shoot anything. And then as they kind of come around this corner, you see something what appears to be a Bigfoot.
It's fucking
That's
Bigfoot.
What I would say.
It's Bigfoot in a finder.
It's no further than 10 feet in front of Rick. Like, and it as they're running, it startles Morgan. Like, you can tell there's a genuine, like, I'm just being spooked in the dark of something being there. And then, like, everything kind of runs. The Bigfoot runs, and then Rick just sprints after it. So then Morgan... So
in his cowboy boots.
Yep. Yeah, Bigfoot and Rick
underwear.
Sprint into the woods. I guess Rick after it. And Morgan's like, Rick, don't shoot it. What? Like, Rick. And all of a sudden you start hearing gunfire going off. And you're like, and you hear Morgan be like, holy fuck, like, Rick, what are you doing? Rick, I can't see. Where are you? And he says, I'm going back to camp, Rick. And he's kind of standing in the dark. And then he turns and you see Bigfoot rush and like just, it must bowl him over or hit him
right through. Yep.
And the ground hits, and then Rick comes running back over and goes, stands him up, and the first thing he says is, let me see the tape.
Rewind the footage.
Let me see the tape. Rewind the footage. Rewind the footage. I got to see. And these two get in a little fight, and it's caught on camera later where Rick's like, I fucking own everything on that fucking tape. Give it to me. And Morgan's like, yo, go fuck yourself. And leaves. And it shows a picture of Morgan. And Morgan looks like he got hit with a fucking 2-piece in a soda. Little 1-2's got a black eye, fucking cut nose. Looks like he was hit in the face with something. I believe Rick's original plan was that he had a friend come out there and assault Morgan in a Bigfoot costume.
100%.
In the dark. And then that's why he immediately said, let's see the tape, because he needed to make sure
It looked like
that he
Bigfoot.
got the shot, right? That they got a big, because if he didn't get a Bigfoot shot, then they were going to have to do something else to get it, right? So he's like, let me see the tape, rewind it. That's the first thing. I'm like, holy fuck, you okay? Did I shoot it? Nothing, like nothing you would normally do. It's like, let me see the tape. To me,
So
that's really telling.
Is that the Sasquatch that's in the freezer though?
No, well, what happened is so Morgan's like, go fuck yourself. So Rick, knowing this movie comes out, says, yeah, he has that footage. That's real. I went back there with a friend and we hunted it and we killed it. So he's saying that after the event. So what I believe is, I believe Morgan kind of threw a wrench in his plans because he thought this was going to be, he was going to be able to set this up as corroborating evidence, right? And have this footage in his back pocket. And then Morgan like released his document, making him look like a fucking asshole. And so he just had to go his own plan of going back. Yeah, we shot it. Yeah, we killed it. Because if there's one thing I know, I'm telling you right now, Bigfoot did not attack Morgan Matthews.
I'm not so sure.
Like, says you.
Says me.
so sure.
Yeah.
Says you.
All the buildup tells me it was Rick. It was either Rick. It was a friend of Rick Dyer's or an accomplice. It wasn't a friend because Rick Dyer gets asked earlier on in the documentary, hey, Rick, do you have any friends? And he goes, no, I ain't got any friends, brother.
Sad, isn't
I ain't
it?
got no one.
Yeah,
Sad, isn't it?
It was a very sad part. It's very.
It was sad. Like, oh man, poor Rick.
Sad part.
No wonder he's hoaxing Bigfoot.
But even though Dyer acknowledged that the body that they had, that they've been exhibiting, was fake, he still goes on to maintain that he did shoot and kill Bigfoot. But he didn't reveal the actual body because he feared that it would be stolen.
Sticking to the same story
still
from 2008.
The man who killed Bigfoot.
So you can't deny this guy.
Right.
This guy,
And
he shot him.
You know, so that was 2014. What's Rick up to these days? You might ask yourself.
What is he up to?
So Rick Dyer, hold on, I got to pull it up here. Rick is, he used to have a YouTube following on his Bigfoot channel, which he has turned into. He's transitioned his 16,000 subscribers onto, he's rebranded. He's now Rick on the Move, and he this is, as of 14 days ago, as you're listening to this, he posts videos on how to sell used cars and don't worry about checking people's credit. And he just gives used car advice.
Come on down to Rick's Car Barn.
His most popular video right now has 220 views and he gets no comments. He has comments opened. So, of course, I couldn't help myself. So I had to ask him. I said, hey, Rick, what's the best used vehicle to take in the woods for a Bigfoot hunt? Should I be looking for something in particular? FYI, I have zero credit. And we'll see. He literally responds to everyone. So if you want to go check out Rick's, Rick on the Move. That's his new scheme, I'm going to call it, because this guy is a schemer and a grifter.
He's a grifter.
If you start watching one of his videos and you go, that sounds like an idea, slap yourself in the face and then throw some water in your face because it's not. It's a scam.
He's good at it.
So this whole thing, like the documentary is great. That you get this thing because it's not just Rick. You also have. I
wish I remember those
like
two
Rick.
guys' names.
It's Dwayne and I can't remember the other guy's name. It's one of them's Dwayne and I can't remember the other one. But I think they're actually known within the Bigfoot community.
I've seen them on other stuff.
Well, yeah,
I've seen them.
They show their office, and their office is jam packed with Bigfoot research. Packed every drawer, walls, everything. So they've been in it for a long time.
So I think the documentary is great at giving you this snapshot of different facets. You have the guys like Dwayne and who are out there making Bigfoot calls, and they kind of go out there in their truck. They just go down country roads and looking for Sasquatch out there.
They're playing fucking music on an old tape player.
Right. You've got Tom Biscardi out there, taking kind of the corporate approach, I guess, for lack of a better word, to the Bigfoot. To the Bigfoot phenomenon. He's got a whole company based on it, a whole media empire that is centered around the search for Bigfoot. He comes off a very
Dallas Gilbert. We should actually do his story because he claims he was attacked by Bigfoot. But honestly, him and his I'm gonna say heterosexual friend. They have a very honestly, I love the two of them. They're the best part of the
They seem like
genuine.
pretty nice dudes.
Yeah, genuine.
Genuine.
He died.
Dallas
R.I.P.
Gilbert.
R.I.P. Raise one for him.
Way to bring it down.
But we should talk about his case one time because it's phenomenal.
Yeah, we'll give him a memorial episode, I suppose.
Yeah,
I guess the least we could do. And then you've got Rick out there as well. And Rick is kind of a self-described showman of the things. He goes in multiple interviews, he compares himself to he's like a contemporary or like a modern day P.T. Barnum. Kind of says, P.T. Barnum's out there exhibiting all this crazy stuff. Like, why can't we do it now? It's about this. It's about the spectacle. It's not about whether it's true or not. It's about, getting people to I guess, garner interest in the subject to some extent. And then he kind of says a lot of times that it is more about seeing kids come in and smile and kind of look at it, whether they're skeptical about it because they're like asking all these questions about why are his feet covered? Like, why is he so big? And questions that are kind of kids would ask. And some of them he struggles to answer. That would seemingly be simple if you knew exactly what the creature was. But he says seeing kids walk out of there with wonderment in their eyes and smiles. He says that's the most important part. At least that's what he claimed.
Not the
I just want to give credit to these two guys, Dallas Gilbert and Wayne Burton. Are the two fucking standouts from that documentary.
True Bigfoot hunters. Hunt your whole life, never find them.
But they're out there.
They found him.
Out there.
He fucking pointed one out on the documentary.
Well, sorry, I should say you've never shot and displayed one on ice.
Yeah,
they're out there.
I think they were staunchly against killing it. I think they didn't say that they wanted to kill it. I think Rick was the only one who wanted to kill it. I even think Tom Biscardi was more like they need to bring in a live specimen. I think they were more about bringing it in alive.
It's like it's like, what do you think those taser guns are for?
Right. Yeah, that's right. So I mean, that's one of the things that in the Bigfoot community, that's kind of still like it's a big matter of debate whether you can shoot these things. I think there was a statement by I think the Texas game warden, and they said that Texas does not officially recognize Bigfoot as existing, so therefore a news report called them about shooting Bigfoot, killing a Bigfoot. Like what kind of documentation would you need? And so they said that the game warden was like, we don't really acknowledge that it exists in Texas. So you just need a hunting license, I guess, which they got. So, I mean, you can buy those at Walmart.
But there are states that have Bigfoot hunting licenses.
There are some that actually you need a special permit for hunting Bigfoot, and there's some that you can't kill a Bigfoot. I think there's some states that actually have a thing that recognize Bigfoot as an actual creature and prohibit the hunting of Bigfoot. I'm pretty sure.
I mean, so if someone brought a Bigfoot though say to your hometown, Dan. They're like, real Bigfoot here, come on in, it's real Bigfoot. You're going for sure.
Oh yeah, I totally go. Like, I don't care.
Oh, I'd go.
Like,
Yeah.
I like sideshows. I like Ripley's Believe It or Not and stuff like that. I don't know if I'd pay $20 though, because you got to shell it. He was charging $20 to see it.
I ain't paying. Listen,
I'm
it's
paying.
not the world's oldest tractor. I don't want anything to do with it. Bullshit.
It's very for just one thing. Like if I were going into a
listen,
museum,
Dan, what happens if they had dead Sasquatch or Sasquatch
And
the guy with the really long fingernails? Would you pay $20?
like $16 maybe.
What about that and Batboy?
Then I'd go $20. Like at least 3 exhibits of something stuff I want to see. Then I'd be like $20.
you need 3 Believe It or Nots, and you're in.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. About. Yeah.
It needs a 3 on the Ripley scale.
Yeah, I gotcha.
Let's get into final thoughts.
Okay, I'll go first here. I've always believed that there could be a Bigfoot. Some like
Your dad's one.
undiscovered.
Of course you do.
Well, Dan would be some type of different. He's not tall enough, but
No, I said your dad.
oh, my dad.
Discuss this.
Oh,
Yeah.
I mean, yes. But I've always believed that there could be a Bigfoot out there, like an undiscovered species that's intelligent, that just hides in the deep, darkest places that humans don't venture. You know, the mountains of the Pacific Northwest, or like the Himalayas, like rural, harsh climates that if you were intelligent, you could evade, let's say you could evade humanity, because we don't go there very, very rarely. So I've always thought that. I mean, when it comes to a guy who's hoaxed 1 and then hoaxed 2 and then sticks to the same story, like, well, yeah, the original body was taken by government agents and I decided to still display a fake one because I thought, like, we put all this work into it, I should do it. I mean, good for him. He's a capitalist at his finest here. He found an opportunity. He faked a Bigfoot. And then a few years later, he did a better one. I don't know. What do you say to this one? It's fun. I would like to talk more to Mr. Morgan, the documentary maker, and see like what is his story on, like, just to get his experience of filming
being
that.
Assaulted.
Just filming that in general, and like, does he start like think it's all a sham, and then he's like, oh shit, like this guy's and then like, I think in that scenario, I agree that he had someone working with him. Maybe it was just one of the homeless people. He paid him $100 to, hey, man, put this on and run through and tackle the camera guy. So do I think Bigfoot lives in the woods of San Antonio or in the hills of Georgia? I do not. I think it's too close to a it's too close to us. I don't think it's harsh or rural enough to hide. So I think if he wants to do a third one and he wants to really go for it, he should go to the mountains of Washington or BC or Vancouver Island somewhere and really go for it. Like, really find a bit.
Fuck that. We should do it.
Okay,
he made 20,000 G's, man.
That's why I think it's fun. It was a great documentary. Highly recommend watching it and just looking at all the characters. As Andrew said, it's the A-team pretty much. Like, these are it's just a great team of Bigfoot hunters, and it was fun looking. Master trackers, yeah.
Buddy, this was the Avengers before the Avengers came out. Like, this is you true. Had this. Never was there a team up movie
that
brought together so many big names.
Conglomerate of Bigfoot hunters.
I'll go next. Final thoughts. Like, you know, Rick Dyer is a piece of shit. So is Big Tom. Tom's a big piece of shit as well. They're like, honestly, scumbags. Like, that's the opinion I have of them after researching this case. They pretend to support the cause of researching Bigfoot and stuff. And I'm a huge Bigfoot fan. I believe there is a possibility of a giant ape-like creature out there that we haven't discovered. And these guys are, you know, they're just like, what's that fucking idiot, David Weiss, with the Flat Earth Society, right? Like, they're just grifting people to make money off of a cause. Like, they found that people are interested, people want it, and they're exploiting that. I think they're scumbags, to be honest. They hurt the cause, people like this. Unfortunately, it's on all aspects. Because then when you have people like this, and I'm not talking about Dallas or Wayne, those two guys are fucking beauties, but like Tom and, you know, whatever Bigfoot research place he has, like they're just doing a disservice to everything by constantly like pumping out these hoaxes and perpetuating hoaxes. It's just sad, man. It's shitty that people will do that. And then, you know, we didn't learn the first time in 2008 that this guy, we let him get the attention. A second time, it was sad. But those are my thoughts. Do I still think Bigfoot could be out there? Yeah, I do.
100%.
I just don't believe like that 911 call of the homeless woman seeing something drag off a deer carcass. That was real, right? And that's the nugget of truth that fucking Rick Dyer needed to sneak his greasy hand through the door.
Next. Who wants it?
Yeah, I to just go on what Braden said, I think these guys do a bigger disservice than any skeptic or anybody else could. You know, they do nothing but further discredit the fucking movement and go after anybody who is actually like any legitimate, you know, experts when you look into like cryptozoology or anything like that. Like it just paints. It's sad because it ends up painting everybody with that same shitty brush, that they're all grifters and phonies and shit. And like to be so lazy to try and do the same exact fucking thing twice. It's the same fucking story twice.
You know what, Andrew?
Literally.
Andrew,
like,
I got a quick thought on yours because it just reminded. You know what these guys are? These are government agents purposely infiltrating the community to discredit it, and that's why they purposely do these stupid hoaxes over and over again. Keep going though, sorry, Andrew.
It's because Sasquatch is an agent for the U.S. government, right?
Yeah.
U.S. conspiracy.
Yeah. But yeah, like it's just like just this guy's fucking lazy. He's a lazy grifter, and I hope that he really didn't I hope that all the money he made, I hope he didn't break even. I hope he's in fucking debt from this, and I hope he's fucking. The guy's a piece of shit. Like this is just he literally. I don't understand how there can't be like people can't come back after him, especially after he admitted that it was fucking fake.
I think they did. They did try to sue him for fraud.
That's too bad. Like I hope they win.
But I don't think he got
But here's
charged.
here's the great thing about perpetuating a scam like this is like it's $20. You know what I mean? Like it's more work and more money to try to go after him to get your $20 back.
All right, and I think it's very easy to make a case to be like,
it's
what?
Yeah,
because these hoaxes and things like this that Dyer has done. It's like, well, what sane person would believe that this man caught Bigfoot? You know, you could just show him clips from the documentary.
Because that's what he said, though. Like he's purposely misleading people.
Like any rational person who believes that and then pays their money, it's like that's at their own risk.
It'd be different if he stumbled. It would be different to me though if he stumbled upon something and been like, "Holy fuck, this could be Bigfoot." This frozen block of ice. He put this fucking thing together. He created this elaborate fucking thing and stuffed it with fucking possum meat and misled people. Like, fuck.
There's a great like a news report on the 2014 when the press release comes out, where they're talking about this press release, and one of the girls on like the news station goes, "Oh yeah, the guy who perpetuated a Bigfoot hoax is the first person to ever capture one." Yeah. And like, okay. And then it cuts to someone else. I'm like, it's probably like, you know what I mean? Like no one's going to believe that shit.
Mm.
My final thoughts is, I'm on this same kind of lines as everybody else. I think these kinds of hoaxes do a disservice to people who are actually serious about Bigfoot, or at least serious about their inquiries into whether a large bipedal hominid creature could be living in some of the more inhospitable regions that still exist in nature. There's some genuine interest among some academics of whether that could be, and whether it's just a flight of fancy, it's just speculation, or they're just something fun to think about. It's like, that's still fine. Like I still find that okay. I think that like Rick Dyer should be totally hammered for him, lying about it and bringing out this thing. I kind of don't, because I can kind of see the point that he is a showman, or he sees himself as a showman. So it's like, it's very much the circus. It's something that you provide as a spectacle. It's like going to the movies. You go to the movies, like these people in the movies aren't really doing the things that they say they're doing. Or there's a movie like The Blair Witch that is posted, like a mockumentary or something like that. If you paid to see The Blair Witch and you thought it was a real documentary, and then you came out and like, that's not a real documentary, I want my money back for the movie. And it's like, well, no, it's like, what, no, like, why would you go in there and believe that that's a documentary?
Yeah. But do they say, like, at the beginning, there's usually a disclaimer. It's like, this is 100% real. Like, he's coming out, banging the table, being like, this is fucking real. I shot this myself.
At one point he says, he goes, or I guess it's Todd, Big Todd goes, it's as real as you and me standing right here.
Yeah. Like he swears by it. It's right. Like I don't know.
Yeah. I'm just saying that it would be very easy to make the case to be, if he took it to court, if I were defending him, I would definitely just say, like, why would any rational person, when the state of Texas says that Bigfoot doesn't exist, why would you believe a person like this guy here?
I do declare he does not exist. You
Former
must
used
acquit.
car lot owner Rick Dyer, who hunts Bigfoot in underwear and cowboy boots, as is documented in this documentary. Why would you, if you believe that he caught Bigfoot and you paid $20, then, well, you deserve to lose that $20 because you're kind of
does not exist. You must acquit.
A fool and his money are soon parted.
Yeah. I like seeing weird stuff as much as the next person.
I would have gone and seen it. If it was
100%. If it came to town, I would see it.
Yeah. So I can't be like, yeah, that he totally ate things, but
I would have been the kid on the first Jurassic Park. They're gonna look.
Yeah, I'll keep going. I'll keep looking at stuff that I just found it really interesting. The Bigfoot community is a very chock full of strange personalities, and these guys are definitely names in it now. At least Tom Biscardi still is. I think Rick Dyer is now retired. Now that he has a used car lot, he's living the dream.
Yeah,
he's made it out. But you have other people that are in there. Like the statements from Matt Moneymaker and Cliff Barrickman is still out there doing some documentaries and things. So, the search for Bigfoot continues, and I won't be satisfied until they pull him out of the flying saucer and they say he's an alien.
And when that happens, we'll be the first on the case.
Yeah, we'll be right there.
We'll be right there.
We'll be the first into the trailer that's sitting on the side of a San Antonio highway, exhibiting alien Bigfoot.
Fun case. Watch the documentary, Shooting Bigfoot. Highly recommend. If you see Rick Dyer,
punch him in the nuts.
Don't buy any used car from him.
Don't buy anything from him. All right, let's move on. Who do we got this week? The first theory of the week of 2022.
This week's theory of the week is Michael Laurent Cesares. I probably butchered that. But.
That sounded right.
Yeah, post it up, man.
It was a good meme.
It's fucking awesome.
It was
great.
He made a meme, said, "Thanks for all you do. You, not you, Mr. Conspiracy. You," and all a bunch of different pictures that were
bunch of our covers.
Nice little collage of the last year. That's pretty fucking good.
Yeah, we'll make sure to include that on our socials. We doing a weekly roundup of all that kind of stuff. So thank you very much. First theory of the week of 2022, getting off a strong start to podcasting. Still love it as much as ever, so nothing's going to stop us except if you listen to the extravaganza, Two of Us Must Die before the show. We'll stop. Depending on who they are as well.
Shit.
So,
well, I'm feeling pretty army, so that might be me.
Might be you. Hey, you'll be better in 2 days. Don't worry about it.
I hope so.
And if you're not supporting the show, you want to support your boys, your favorite show, get early access, all the bonus stuff. You know the drill. Patreon.com/Alien Theorist Podcast. Find the link in the podcast description. Can't miss it. This week's newest supporters. Just a simple KDS with a 1-year pledge. Xavier, Chase Lovelace. I recognize that name. They're back. Second, Jen Pro Laps. Sir, welcome. Frank I. Clifton.
She's not reading it.
To Norman. David from Texas goes up. to a $10 pledge. Christian Calachia, Claudio Morena, Eric Meza.
Big Mike, Chris Hayslip, $10 a month, Brian Winborn, Beto Marino, Kimmy Cakes, and Jake Zickler.
Thanks very much for supporting the show.
And as we always say at the end, keep those eyes on the skies. Peace.
See you in after hours.
The comfort of your favorite seat is now your comfy car selling command center, thanks to Carvana.
It doesn't get any better than this.
Your favorite seat's the best spot in the house. Make it even better by entering your license plate or VIN and getting a real offer in minutes.
There really is no place like home.
And speaking of home, Carvana will pick up your car from yours after you finalize your offer. Visit Carvana.com or download the app and sell your car from your comfy place. The comfort of your favorite seat is now your comfy car selling command center, thanks to Carvana.
It doesn't get any better than this.
Your favorite seat's the best spot in the house. Make it even better by entering your license plate or VIN and getting a real offer in minutes.
There really is no place like home.
And speaking of home, Carvana will pick up your car from yours after you finalize your offer. Visit Carvana.com or download the app and sell your car from your comfy place.